everyone and welcome to my channel. Since it is the first official day of fall, I decided to do a fall tutorial with an image that I found on Pinterest that had some nice fall trees and a beautiful pathway. I started off my painting by mixing white and burnt umber to create the fogginess of the sky. You can see the reference image linked below in the description in case you want to follow along with me. Using a 5-point angle brush, I then mixed medium yellow with burnt umber to create this orange base. I noticed that using this orange base allowed my green to look very warm and the fall colors to stand out more, versus if I would have used a green base, my fall colors would have been a bit more dulled and cool. I then mixed leaf green, lemon yellow, and burnt umber to create this dark green that layered on really nicely over the orange base. I then added some burnt sienna mixed with orange and some leaf green mixed with yellow mixed with white in certain spots to create different variations of color in the grass. I recommend leaving some orange spots so that when you are layering on the leaves, you have an orange base to work with and the leaves look a bit more vibrant. I then mixed white with some burnt umber to create the color of the pathway. I then added some burnt umber to make dark shadows in the back, and then added some more white to the front to create the highlights of the pathway. Using my 8-point round brush, I then started stippling some dark orange into the grass to create a bit of the effect of leaves. Using my 4-point round brush, I then continued layering on my dark orange to create a background that I would later add my leaves on top of. I then started stippling the effects of leaves using burnt sienna. This is a long process to creating the fallen leaves on the ground, but it is a process that has worked for me almost 100% of the time, and it looks really good when it's finished. Using some medium yellow, which is a light orange, I started stippling on top of the burnt sienna to create some highlights within my leaves. Switching back to an 8-point round brush, I then started stippling in the leaves of the trees using a medium yellow. After I was done doing the leaves, I started painting in the trees using some burnt umber. Making the fence seen in the reference photo, I used some burnt umber mixed with burnt sienna and started with the middle point. I found that if you start in the back, it's easier to create that distance effect where in the back the fence is going to look smaller, so you're going to make it smaller, and as it comes towards you, you're going to make it a bit bigger and more slanted to the side. As you can see, when I go to where the pathway curves, I started painting the fence a bit horizontal, more slanted downward, so that it would give that effect as if it turned. After finishing the fence, I started trying to create the leaves of the tree branches that are going across those trees. However, it was more mixing in with the leaves of the trees, so I decided to just paint the branches and then later layer on the leaves on top. I think one of the hardest parts of this piece was painting the branches, because there are lots of small branches that are going every which way, and you just have to pick a few that you want to focus on and paint those, since you most likely can't paint every branch that you see. When it came to layering on the leaves of those branches, I know that in the photo the leaves are lighter. However, I found that if I added darker leaves on top of the branches, it looked better and it didn't blend so much into the background leaves of the trees. I then turned my attention back to the pathway and started trying to add a little bit more detail. I ended up going a bit too dark with the pathway, trying to create the effect of fallen leaves and the shadow that I saw near the front. I think that if I would have added some more white and made the pathway a little bit lighter, the pathway would have looked a bit more distant than it did when the painting was done. Using burnt sienna, I then started adding little fallen leaves on the pathway. Adding the finishing details, I added a few more leaves to the trees. I started adding some shadows in the background, and I added some lemon yellow on the trunks of the trees so that they looked a little bit more distant and they had some sunlight shining on them. And now the fall piece is done. Don't forget to like and subscribe.